Good morning, Wolves. Welcome to our health and safety student orientation. Um, the way this is going to work is this is a video you're going to watch in parts throughout the day, a quiz at the end of the day. The reason we're showing it to everyone is that it's about return to school or health and safety orientation. But this way you'll know what's going on even if you're not currently set up to come into the building, if you or your family change your mind and want to, you've already got all the information that you need. And if you're not planning on coming in, at least you have some understanding and empathy for what other people are doing. So thank you for giving your attention today. Our objectives, again, to understand the health and safety procedures that are put in place to make the return to school really safe. You want to make sure you're internalizing your in-person policies and expectations so that you really know them. And then we want to review the most important logistics. So the policies are what am I supposed to do? And logistics are how do I do that? And then we want to know what's next to be ready in February. Our agenda for today, we're going to do an overview. We're doing it now. We're going to review those procedures and protocols, expectations. There's going to be a frequently asked questions section. There's going to be some next steps. Also be aware that tonight from 5 to 6 p.m., your parents and families already got this information, but there's a virtual town hall so parents have a chance to see the same information and ask questions as well.
Hey Wolves, Ms. Fellows here. Just wanted to kind of give you an overview of what this whole hybrid school thing looks like before some of the culture team leads you through the specifics of each of the parts of the day. So just want to talk through in a big picture level, what in-person hybrid learning means. Is it means that our students are typically coming 2 days a week. I put the asterisk there because we do have some students who are coming a little bit more than that. But for the most part, students are coming 2 days a week, either Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, Friday. Different from the fall, teachers will also be in person. I know that's super exciting. Double asterisk here, we do have a few staff members that are going to be still leading their classrooms virtually, but for the most part, your teachers will be here and you'll be able to see them, talk to them, and actually get to, for many of us, for the first time, meet them in person, which is very exciting. Also, your classrooms will be in different spaces. So for those of you that came to the learning centers or heard about them, we're actually going to be moving classrooms depending on where your courses are. That said, the majority of our work and some of our learning is still going to take place on the laptops, right? So we're still going to have Pear Deck. We're still going to have Google Classroom. That's very important because at any given time, a lot of our classmates are still going to be virtual. We're all learning at the same time. And so just know that those will still be very important parts of our day-to-day learning. And then the last thing I would say, for those of us that are coming in person a couple of days a week, know that our main focus, in addition to your learning and education, will also just be on supporting you, on providing additional structure, and also, taking time to build community. We know that that's a lot easier to do in person. It will look different than normal years, but we do want to make sure that we're having a focus on getting to know one another. That said, for students that are remaining 100% remote, what that means is you will continue to be virtual all 5 days. So that's not going to change for you. Your classes will still be synchronous. So what that means is your classes are still going to happen at the exact same time. Even though your teacher is in the building, that third bullet point, they are still going to deliver their instruction to you. They're still going to use those virtual platforms. Your camera view of them may look a little bit different because they're in the building, but otherwise things will still feel mostly the same for you. And the most important piece is you are still going to continue to receive really strong instruction for your teachers. So rest assured that our friends that are on remote learning, things are going to change for you for the most part. They're going to stay as they are. And so I want to talk a little bit about our weekly schedule because this is one we've received some questions around. So students said that they were either in the AA cohort or the BB cohort. All that means is students in our AA cohort are coming on Monday and Tuesday. Students in our BB cohort are coming Thursday and Friday. Again, a few of you may have something called AB. That means that you're coming, slightly different days. So make sure you're talking with your advisor in those cases. Important things to call out here. Everybody is virtual Wednesday, right? For mandatory tutoring, know that that will be a day where everybody is at home. Also, if you're 100% virtual, you're always at home too, so you can see that down there. The switch here is that on Mondays and Tuesdays, while our AA cohort is in the building, our BB cohort, are those Thursday and Friday friends, they're going to be virtual. They're going to be at home. On Thursday and Friday, that switches. BB comes into the building, and what that means is our, Monday, Tuesday folks, they are going to be 100% remote as well. So at any given time, this is kind of who's in the building each day. But if you have questions, y'all, just reach out to your advisor or one of your deans. There are a lot of staff members that are here that can help you kind of navigate this new schedule. And while it can be a little bit different the first time, I promise after a couple of weeks, it will start to feel much more fluent, and we'll have a much better, kind of pattern of how things go. One thing that is not changing very much is our daily schedule. So you'll see that our class times are still the same, lunch is still the same, dismissal is still the same. But I do want to call attention to a few pieces that are a little bit different from our normal schedule. Obviously, the commute from your home to period 1 is a lot longer than the commute from your bed to period 1 in the virtual setting. And so we do have a slightly longer arrival window to make sure that people can get through all those steps that we're going to talk about in a little bit later. We are recommending that Prep Academy comes between 8 to 8:15 just to help us kind of have the flow of traffic a little bit better. Senior Academy, we're asking that you come from 8:15 to 8:25. It is okay if you're a Senior Academy student that comes in the Prep Academy window and vice versa. That's just our recommendation so that we can have people a little bit more spread out. You will eat breakfast and attend advisory from period 1. So that's kind of what that piece is there, but the timing is still the same. Period 2 and period 3 will be the normal times. And again, we will have that transition between classes. So those 5 minutes are now going to be used to move throughout the building. Lunch is the same time as it has been in the virtual world. Students, we're going to talk about this more in the presentation, but students will pick up their lunch and will be either eating outdoors or in a classroom, and those times will be staggered slightly. Period 4 through period 6 are the same time with us transitioning, and then students will dismiss either at 3 o'clock or 3:05. There will be a slight stagger depending on where your classroom is, but students will leave through designated exits. One thing to note here is that 8 o'clock arrival time and that 3:15 dismissal time are very firm, y'all. We cannot have students in the building before 8, and we cannot have students in the building after 3:15 for safety reasons. So please make sure that you're talking to your family, that you're making sure that transportation is secure. We don't want you waiting outside in the cold either way too much. So that is our daily schedule and our high-level overview of return to school.
Hey there, Wolves. Welcome back. We are here now to talk about our key health and safety procedures and protocols with me, your Senior Academy Dean, Mr. Heaton. Let's get to it. So when we think about health and safety in our building, we are following the Tenacious 10. This is a brilliant label that someone came up with. Both of them start with T. It's so smart. And it breaks down into wearing a mask, completing a daily screener, having your temperature checked, maintaining social distance, cohorting to minimize spread, which means having smaller groups, washing your hands regularly, only having essential visitors, using updated filters, air filters for all of our classroom spaces, and having medical assistants on campus. And then every night disinfecting and having a lot more cleaning products than usual. So this is what we're going to be doing to help keep you safe when you're in the building. Now, some of this is just going to happen for you. So for instance, you don't need to come in and install new air filters in the school. We've got that taken care of. We will be checking your temperature every day. We've set up your schedule so that there are fewer people in the building. All of these things we're taking care of for you. But there are some things that you need to do in order to keep yourself safe and keep our community safe. One is you need to wear a mask at all times. That means from the moment you get out of your car on campus, you need to have your mask on. You need to complete the daily screener on your phone, which includes a temperature check, and you need to do that before you get to school. You need to maintain 6 feet of distance whenever you can, or 3 feet of distance if we're in the classroom when things are a little closer. And then you need to wash your hands regularly with soap and water and or use hand sanitizer. So let's start off with when you arrive in the morning. There are 2 places where you can come into school. One is the main doors. You can come in if you want to grab breakfast or if you have first period on the first floor. You can come in the upstairs doors, like by the math classrooms, if you have period 1 on the second floor and you don't want breakfast that morning. Okay, so that is kind of like a smaller, quicker way to come in the building, but you won't have breakfast. We're asking Prep Academy to please arrive between 8 and 8:15. We're asking Senior Academy to arrive between 8:15 and 8:25. If you and a sibling are arriving together, then and you're in different academies, try to shoot for that 8:15 time. All right, when you get here, we're going to ask that you adhere to safety procedures as soon as you step out of the car, as soon as you step on campus. You're wearing a mask, you're staying 6 feet away from people. We would like you to complete the health screener before you enter the building. So if that needs to happen on your phone before you come in, that's fine. You need to show your completed screener and then walk to the thermal scanner. This is like a fancy camera computer that will take your temperature for us. And then you stop at the sanitizing station, you grab breakfast if you want it, and then go directly to your period 1 classroom. We're not going to be, hanging out in the mornings, in the hallways or in the commons. We're just going to go straight to first period. Your screener is on the internet. You go to this website, and when you complete it, it'll turn green if you don't have any problems, and you show that to get in. And this is a picture of our scanner, thermal scanner. It will tell us your temperature when you come in. So you just walk up, pause for a minute in front of it, and it'll tell us your temperature. Please take a minute now to bookmark this in your phone, myhealthbox.net. You sign in with your DSST email and then your lunch number, and make sure you do that every morning. You will need a thermometer at home in order to do this. So, in class, first and foremost, when you come in the class, every single time, we're going to wipe down the desk, the chair, anything that is kind of in your area. We're going to keep 3 feet of space between desks, more than that if we can do it. Each student's going to use their own materials. We can't borrow chargers. We can't borrow pencils. None of that. Sanitizer and sinks will be in or near every room. And we're going to have masks on at all times, unless you're just taking a drink of water for a moment, but then the mask needs to come right back on. Transitions and bathroom breaks. Bathrooms are only going to be used during class, and each room has a designated bathroom. We'll tell you which bathroom to use. We're only going to send 1 student from the class at a time. We're going to ask you to be pretty quick and urgent in your transitions between classes. We're going to have the bathrooms closed during passing periods. We're going to ask you not to stop and hang out in the hallway. You can still talk to your friends, but you need to be moving to your next classes. And not just like kind of hanging out, standing around in the hall. Water fountains are going to be closed, but we have refill stations. So make sure you bring a water bottle. The water's cold, the water's filtered. It's very nice. Bring a water bottle so you can use it. Breakfast and lunch. Breakfast is picked up in the commons after arrival. You eat it in your first period classrooms. We ask that you take your mask down to eat, obviously, but then put the mask back on when you're not eating. Lunch, you're going to go to either the first floor in the commons or the second floor over by the tech office to grab your lunch. One day you'll eat indoors and one day you'll eat outdoors. So make sure that you are dressed appropriately because we're going to eat outdoors pretty much no matter what. So one day a week you'll eat indoors, one day a week outdoors. You can bring a lunch, but we don't have refrigerators and we don't have microwaves right now. And food delivery services are not allowed. We have a completely closed campus. No one can come except for students and staff. So that includes food delivery drivers, whether they are related to you or not, or they just work for Uber Eats. So either way, we can't have people coming to campus. Dismissal. Each cohort has a designated exit, so we will tell you what exit to use, but we'll exit all over the building to try and keep distance from each other. Everyone has to leave by 3:15. We can't be hanging around the building afterward. Dismissal times will be staggered a little bit, so we'll dismiss one room, 2 minutes later we'll dismiss another, and that way, make sure we're not running into each other. You have to leave campus right away if you're walking or driving, or just make sure that you're staying away from people while you're waiting for a ride. If the weather's bad, like it's really cold, it's snowing, it's raining, then you can stay in the classroom until 3:30, but we'll contact your family to let them know. So friends, a lot of things here. It is certainly not going to be school as usual, but we really believe that if we do these things, we can be safe. we can make sure that you get a great education, working with your teachers in person that you need, while still making sure that everyone can be safe and we can keep our families safe as well. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you again soon.
Hey, Wolves. So Miss Adams here to give you some in-person policies and expectations for if you are returning to the building with us next week. I really want to make sure that we go over these things because some of these things are heavy on our minds. What are we wearing? Can I text? Do I have to come every day? I'll hopefully answer all of your questions. If not, there will be a portion for that after my slides. So first up, what do you expect it to bring? You are bringing these things every day with you to school. So one is a mask. As you know, we live in the world of COVID now. You have to have your mask every day. The school does have backups, but ensure that you bring your own, but we do have your back if you make sure you have a water bottle. Our water fountains are no longer going to be in use. However, we have added more water filling stations to the building, so you can fill up your own personal water bottle that you bring from home. You need headphones, one for advisory so that you can hear what's going on while you're sitting in your P1 class. Also, in case there is a long period of time that your teacher is giving you for independent work, you might want to listen to some music, so make sure you have that. Also, your laptop and charger. You need to make sure you have both of those things with you every day. You cannot share chargers with other students, so let's make sure you have your own and that you are bringing it with you all of the time. Some things that are recommended for you to bring with you would be a sweatshirt, a jacket, wear layers. We all know how our school temperature loves to work and not work on any given day, so make sure you're prepared with having those things. Bring your pens, your pencils, your notebooks, anything that will help you personally get through the workday that you weren't using at home. Also, your backpack. So we will not have lockers. So you will need to bring your backpack with you. You cannot use a locker. Also, your blue light glasses, your phone charger, all of those things. Now we are going to talk about the dress code. So for this particular return to school, when we're doing a hybrid, our dress code is going to be much more relaxed than it has been in years past. So I want you guys to dress for comfort. So you can wear hoodies, leggings, sweatpants, joggers, all of those things. But let's just make sure that we're still following our core values and we don't have any messages of alcohol or drug use. And there's no hate speech written on our clothing, and that we still are respecting our community. Last up, we do have the right, or staff, your teachers, if they feel like something is inappropriate, to follow up with you and family on it. We'll do this case by case, but overall there is no dress code that says you cannot wear hoodies, leggings, no collars, anything you want within reason. Also, now on our dress code is a mask. You must wear your mask correctly at all times. That is over your nose and your mouth at all times, unless you are eating really quickly or you're taking a quick sip of water, but then it goes right back on. That's when we're in hallways, in the bathroom, walking around. We must have our mask on. All right, so now we're going to talk about phones. They have been glued to our side since the pandemic has started. So I know it's very, very hard to get out of that habit. So we're gonna work with you in order to do that. So first, if you are using it for educational purposes, like you're taking a Quizlet on your phone while you're in class, by all means, your teacher will not say anything about that. However, if you are texting on social media or doing anything that's not academically related, the teacher will first give you a warning. So we're not going to just tell you to put it in a bag or a box. We are going to give you warnings now, like, hey, I know it's hard to get back into it, but we're trying to keep this as an academic setting, and we'll move on. Then your teacher will ask you to place it in a plastic bag if you are doing this consistently and putting it on one side of your desk. There will be one student per desk, so it will be at the farthest edge from you, and you must leave it there until the end of class. If you do not leave it there to the end of class, or you feel like you don't want to put it in a bag and leave it near you, a dean will come get your phone and you will not get it back until period 6. So let's try to minimize that and keep our electronics for academic purposes only. Last thing, we are so happy to have you guys back in the building. We've missed you guys, but it's also very important that we're maximizing the benefits of this schedule. So if you're scheduled to come into the building, please do your best to come in. If not, please communicate with your advisor or the front office if you're not feeling well or if you're going to stay remote that day, so that we will have a constant tab on attendance. Otherwise, you should be in the building. You guys wanted to come back. We want you there. We want to see you. So make sure we're doing all of these things when we return to the building, and I'm sure we'll have a great time.
You have now made it to the question and answer section of your training. So great work, paying attention throughout the day. I'm going to go over some common questions that we've been getting. So what should I do if I have or I'm exposed to COVID? Remember that the goal, like you can still access your classes from home. So stay home. As long as you're feeling well enough to participate in classes, then you can participate from there. And if you're not, it's a normal illness, excused absence. So just make sure that you are staying home if you need to stay home. Your health and safety is the most important thing to us. Then tell your advisor or the front office so we can make steps to make sure that everyone is safe. Again, just making sure if you've been in the school and that you have or were exposed to COVID, that's just information that we would like to have to help keep everyone safe. Different question. If you forget your mask, don't worry. We will have extra ones available so that you're always able to come to school and be prepared as well as safe. And if you see other people who aren't doing the things they're supposed to be doing, like tell your teacher, tell an adult who's nearby. Just remember, one of the strengths of our community is our ability to work together as a community. The only way that this is going to work is if we are working together to make sure that all of us are safe. Our biggest strength right now is each other. And then another question that's come up, like, what if I want to change to in-person learning? Okay, so if you want to change to in-person learning, there's going to be a process for it. Like I said at the beginning, the reason you're watching this now, even if you're not currently signed up, is that you could make that transition easily. Also, if you're in person and you want to switch to remote, that's much easier because you can just stay home. So you just, again, make sure you're communicating, but changes are possible. It's just different if you're trying to come into school versus if you want to stay home. And then if you want to switch your days, yeah, it's probably not possible. I understand the schedules, like there's just so many factors that we have to consider to make sure that this is as safe as possible, and know that some of the factors that have been considered are like siblings, both in our building and also in the middle school. There's a lot of different considerations that have gone into this schedule that accommodates as many people as possible and also keeps everyone safe. So we did our best, but of course, always reach out to your dean. We're always ready and willing to hear you out. And our next steps, you are in your next class period, you are going to take or in sixth period, you're going to take your health and safety orientation quiz. And you want to make sure that you know your schedule for February. So if you are someone who is coming in, you need to know, are you coming in Monday, Tuesday? Are you coming in, like what days are you supposed to be here? And then to show up bright and early on your designated first day. Thanks so much for engaging in this presentation and good luck on your quiz.